Hey friends, it's Celebrate America Week, and we are looking at some important American symbols. And one of our symbols, a very important American symbol, is the American flag. And I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of show you guys some cool and different strategies on how to draw the American flag. And this is one of the options that you have available this week. All you're going to need is to print out this worksheet, and you're just going to need another piece of copy paper and a pencil. Now, if you, I've kind of been trying to think of other ways that you can do the lessons. And here's another thing that you could do. You could watch the video of me doing this, and then you could actually then just take the worksheet and the paper outside and draw outside. Or you may be able to follow the worksheet and not need to watch the video, and you could take the worksheet and draw outside. So as the weather gets nicer, I want you to think about ways that you could possibly take your art outside and draw outside, because it's starting to get really nice, and I want you to not always be in front of a screen. So I'm going to show you real quick how to follow this this tutorial. So step number one, we're going to take our piece of paper. I would like to make my flag fairly large, as large as it can be to fit on my piece of paper. So depending on how big you want your flag will be how long you make this first vertical line. So in this case, this flag is small because the vertical line wasn't very big. This one, it's kind of medium because the vertical line was a little bit longer. I'm going to make my vertical line even a little bit longer just to show you what a bigger flag looks like. So what I'm going to do for step number one is I'm going to come down a little bit of a ways because I need to leave some at the top for some rounding around. But I'm going to start over here by the edge, and I'm going to come down maybe about that far. Okay, so step number one, done, easy peasy. For step number two, we are going to draw sort of two curved lines that almost look like waves. And what I like to do is kind of figure out, well, how far over do I want to go? So if I do two of those, if I put a mark right about here and then a mark right about here, that kind of gives me an idea as I'm kind of curving like where I should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up, and then I'm curving around, and then, oops, see, there I hit my line. So that's kind of in the right spot, right? Then I'm going to go up, curve around. Now that curve I didn't like as well, so I'm just going to kind of erase that. Curve around, and then up. And your curves don't have to be identical. See how this one is a little bit wider and rounded, this one's a little bit pointier. They don't have to be exactly right, and you don't have to get too hung up on that. I just want you to be able to enjoy it and have fun. So there are my two curves. Now I'm going on to step three. So what we're going to do is we're going to be creating a rectangle shape, but the top of this rectangle shape is going to be rounded. So what I kind of like to do is start at this bottom here, and I'm going to go up a little bit of a ways so I kind of know where I'm kind of rounding around to. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to head up the hill a little bit, and then I'm going to come down the hill, and I'm just going to round that edge a little bit, and there I met up with my line there. Okay, now on next step 4, I'm going to come down a little bit of a ways. So I'm not going to start up here. I'm going to move my pencil down maybe to about right here, and that's where I'm going to start. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. I'm going to, at the edge of this curve, I'm going to come up a little bit of a ways so I can kind of see, oh, now on this one we're kind of going, it's a little bit of a different curve. It's like straight and then up and then curving around and then meeting up with that guy right there. And again, you can kind of smooth it out. And always, if you draw really nice and lightly with your pencil, it makes it so much easier. All right, step number 5, we almost have the whole flag drawn. This step, we're going to also come down a little, but we're just going to curve straight up. So it's almost like, whoa, like that. And then same thing, I'm just going to, then it's sort of, I'm going to just kind of curve out and then back down there. So it's a little bit rounded on the edge like that. You can kind of see it's a little bit curved. So there is step 5. So we are almost done. See how easy this is? Now, for the next step, we are going to draw the rectangular part where the stars go. And if I drew it halfway right here, that would make the blue area a little bit too big. If I did it closer to the top, that would be too small. So I'm just going to kind of do it a happy medium. So kind of right in here, you're just going to, again, we're going to draw a curve that kind of mimics this curve. So again, it's just going up and then curving around like that. So this curve is kind of like this curve. Then, I don't need that mark anymore. Then what we're going to do is next, just like how we did here where we came down a little bit. So where this line ended, we're just going to come down a tad bit. So we see that the next line doesn't start, it comes down just a little bit. And same thing, this line that I draw is going to mimic this line. So I want it to kind of curve up and then curve around like that. So this line is kind of like that line. Then for my third line, same thing, I'm going to come down just a little bit. You can see it's not quite starting where that is, but it's just a little bit down. And same thing, it's going to be, this time it's just going to be curve, just like this curve right here, okay? Then what we're going to do is we are going to draw a vertical line somewhere, kind of just leaving a little bit of space here. It's almost like that blue rectangular piece is kind of folding out and around and underneath. So this, in this section here, there will also be stars. If you look ahead, there'll be stars in here and also in here, okay? Now it is time to put the rest of the stripes. So what we're going to do is, if you'll notice, where I came down here, I'm going to, now it meets up with here. So this one is going to kind of curve up and go back down like that, okay? And then if I look over here, to fill these guys in, this one, it looks like I can fit about 2. So I'm just going to kind of divide up that area. So I'm just going to go curving up. I'm kind of meeting with that one. Curving up. This one could probably have a little more curve in it. Okay. And then where this one is, then I'm just going to move down a little bit and go up. And then there's another one. It's kind of in there like that. Okay. And then we are going to finish off by adding the rest of them. So I have this one, and then this one is here. So then I'm going to do one that's a little bit down from that. So this one's same thing. It's going to go around like that. And then the other one's going to go a little bit underneath. And then this one is kind of coming back like that. And then because this is bigger, I'm just going to keep doing that. So I'm going to go curve, curve, curve. And then I'm just going to do one more. Curve, curve, curve. And on this one I probably have space for one more, so I'm just going to go curve, curve. And, oops, actually, I want to make it so it's a little bit more even. There we go. So there is all of my stripes. And then the last thing I want to do is, if you'll notice here, there's a vertical line that goes right here, and then there's another one that goes right here. So it's kind of giving us this idea that the flag has folded and then come back around. And then for the last step, we will put our stars. So you can kind of just figure out where you want the stars. Like I could probably fit 3 stars right in through here. Now the other thing to think about when you're doing the stars is stars are sometimes tricky to draw. But what I like to do is, if you do, I'm doing a triangle, then I'm going diagonal, horizontal, diagonal. And then I'm just going to do that again. Triangle, or it's almost like a mountain without the connecting the bottom. Then diagonal, horizontal, diagonal. So there's my mountain. And then once you outline those, the outside edges, then you can erase the inside lines, and then you have a star. I sometimes cheat and I make my stars like this, but that's a little bit tricky. So I think if you're having trouble with it, the best thing to do is to draw the stars like this, and then just take your time. Okay, and you can alternate them. The other thing is you do not have to worry about putting 50 stars on, but maybe you want to try it. And so you would make the stars really teeny tiny. And you could also practice multiplication, because you could think of, okay, well, if I have 5 stars down, how many, if I have 5 rows, then how many columns? I probably need like 10 columns, because 5 times 10 is 50. So you could see if you could fit that many stars on there. So that part is totally up to you, how you want to finish it off. So there. So now I have all my stars and my stripes, and now my flag is ready to color. So what you can do is, there are a couple of choices. You could outline all of your pencil lines with a marker. So I can just take a marker, or if you don't have a marker, you could use a black or a blue ballpoint pen. Just go over all your pencil lines. So I'm just going to carefully do that. So I'll give you guys a second to outline your flag, and then I'll just demonstrate one last thing that you can do when you go to color your flag. All right, now that you have your flag drawn, you can add color if you like, or you can just leave it be, or you can cut it out. I'm just erasing those little pencil lines that I had in there. This part is totally up to you how you want to decorate it, but I was going to give you just a little pointer on shading. So if we look down here at this bottom stripe here, we kind of see this, and then we see the back part here. So what this is indicating is that the fabric of the flag is kind of coming out, then it's folding back around and then coming here. So even though this stripe is not directly next to this stripe, and so this stripe would be red right here, but so would this one. So when you go to color in your flag, you could start with that bottom stripe. It will kind of help you. So this one's red, and then this one's going to be red. Okay, and then you'll alternate from there. Another thing I want to show you is that the highest area of the flag is where the curve is the biggest. So this area will be the lightest. So if you really wanted to shade it in like it was realistic, this area right here would be nice and light. Then as it goes back down, it's going to get dark in that corner. And then as it comes back down here, it's going to get a little bit darker again. Now that's if you wanted to get fancy. and really try to make the flag look like it is 3D, okay? And then same thing down here in this corner, light can't really shine down there, so it's going to be a little bit darker down in here, but then as we go up, this is going to be really, really light. Then it's only going to get dark a little bit back in there as it goes back in there. And then it's going to be dark down in here. Oopsie, broke my crayon. Dark down in there. But then as it curves out, it's going to be really light right in there. And you can kind of blend it. Okay, and that's if you use crayons. You would do the same thing if you're using colored pencils. If you wanted to put some shading where the white was, you could. So this stripe here is going to be white. This stripe is going to be white. But you could just take a blue crayon or colored pencil, and if you just put a little smidgy of shading in there, it just kind of gives you a little idea of that something's there, even though it's white. I just put a little bit of shading right in there. And then so this one's going to be also white. And then this stripe will be white. And if you want to, so you don't lose track, sometimes what I like to do is take my crayon, so red, white, I'm just going to put a little bit of red, white, red. So I know that. Then this is white, red, white, red, white, red, white. And then this is red, white, so this is red, white, red, white, red. Okay? And then you can also color in this area would be blue. So either you can take your crayon or your colored pencil, or you could even use your markers. Markers though, as you guys all know, markers don't allow you to shade very well, but that's okay. You could also color in with marker if you wanted to kind of experiment around and see what that looked like. So I hope you have fun with this flag. You can use it to combine with some other symbols to make artwork, or you can just kind of play around with it just the way it is. If you have any questions or need to or if you want to show me or have questions, office hours, stop by. I'm back from my father-in-law's funeral, and as always, I would love to see or talk to you.